welcome back to Better Than Bowyer. As always, before we get into the episode, let's check in on the Prediction League leaderboard. Bradford 2708 picked up one more point than Pablo this round, which leads deadlock for first broken. UJAS moves up one place to 6th, swapping places with Bruce Bannister. Those were the only movements in the top 10. Outside top 10, Shotzi and Mighty Bantam move up one place to join Lord Bobby in 12th, and Big Rod falls one place to 16th. As always, the link to the entry thread for the next match can be found in the description. And with that, let's roll the titles. Welcome game week 33 of Sky Bet League 2. Today we're at home to 10th place Stevenage. Both teams' form has been inconsistent, so it really could go either way, although the bookies have us as firm favourite. Fans don't seem up for this match though. With an attendance of 13,014, that's about 1,000 less than normal. I don't know where they all are. Anyway, before we look at the teams, let's check in the news since the last episode. So Henry picked up a knock in the last match, and it turned out to be broken ribs. No matter what we do, he's out for 2 to 3 months, which may mean his season is over. I'm going to send him to a specialist though. It costs 7.5k, but if he's fit for the run-in, that could be important. Next up, we had Chris Royston, our head physio, raised concerns about Powdy's fitness. He's played a lot of minutes, more than I would have liked, so I went ahead and gave him next match off, which he agreed with. Next up, we news telling us that Gibson returned to training following 2 months out with an abdominal tear. Him being back isn't going to offer us anything because he's currently considering a loan offer from Dumbarton, which I fully expect he will take. The fit has also returned to training. Isma chose a good time to have such a good game, as it certainly gives something to think about. The blurb is interesting. For as poor as I think the fit has been, it says he stood out for us, and certainly his stats back that up. He's played 29 games, and he has 2.3 successful dribbles a game and 1 key pass, which is actually really good. Maybe I just expect too much of him. And a quick look at his stats, they are identical to those he started the season with, but those downouts next to acceleration, jumping, reach, pace, and strength indicate the stats have worsened. This means we had actually helped him improve these, and the injury has clearly undone that hard work we put in. Anyway, that's all that happened between episodes, so let's get back to today's team news. Our only doubt is Pritchard, who is still a few days away from being back in training. They are missing Kennedy and Michael Smith. They also have 3 others who are doubts, including their first choice goalkeeper. With Paddy being given the game off, Ben Richards Everton comes in. I've also made a big call not to bring Wood back in after his suspension. He was showing a high risk of injury, and with Meda going into the game on low fitness, I didn't want to push Wood into the team and maybe lose both of them. Hopefully it's the right decision. So our team is McGee in goal, Mella, O'Connor, Richards Everton and Staunton in defence, Cookeries in midfield, Ismail Middleton on the wings and McCartan and Novak up top. On the bench, the fittest there after his injury. The other players are Donald, Wood, Taylor, Goldthorpe, Donaldson and French. Stevenage are playing their injured keeper, so maybe that's something we can profit from. For team talk, I'm going to go with go assertive, and we should be winning this. Reasons for an early free kick. Whips it into the back post. Richards Everton leaps highest but can't direct the header. Cook back to Richard Everton. Plays the looping ball up towards Novak. Novak nods it to McCartan. McCartan controls it and then plays a wonderful left foot through ball to Novak. Novak has to score, but it's wild and over the bar. So it's a really good ball up by Ben Richards Everton and an even better header by Novak to find McCartan. McCartan controls it and then with his left foot plays a deft pass back to Novak. Touch by Novak is outstanding. Gets out of his feet and it's a certain goal, but he gets under it and hits it over the bar. James Wilden plays the ball back into play. Jackson picks it up and plays it back to James Wilden. He cuts inside and then finds the ball to List. List drives towards the box before slipping it inside to Jackson. Jackson turns, shoots. Good save, McGee. Good build-up play by Stevenage. Leicester could save again, but List plays the ball into Jackson. He takes one touch and then swivels, and then just drills it goalwards. McGee doesn't have long to react, but with strong hands palms it over the bar. Corner from Kemp. Whips into the middle. Van Kooten misses the target. Ref blew for a foul on Miller anyway. Another corner for Stevenage. Kemp to put it in again. Goes back post this time, and List is in acres, and he heads it past McGee. 1-0 Stevenage. We had a warning moments before about how dangerous they would be from corners, and we didn't learn. Our defending is awful. List has a completely free run, and even after giving him a free header, we had enough people on the line that we should have dealt with it. We've overloaded the 6-yard box. We have a player on each post, 2 players guarding the edge looking to deal with any ball floated in, and we have 3 players marking their 3 players. The problem is that they then have 2 players free hovering on the edge of the box. You have List here, and just behind him, Falamy. Maybe McCartan could be closer to List, but even then they would be doubled up on him. As the ball comes in, they both attack it. Falamy leaves it to List, but at this point there shouldn't really be a threat as we have the line well covered. We have Mella, O'Connor, McGee, Novak, and Staunton, all on or around the line. List has very few options, and one of them should be able to stop it. O'Connor takes a step forward, and List places the ball in the space that O'Connor vacated. McGee and Mella should still have dealt with it, but they make a right hash of it. Let's tweak the tactics, see if we can be a bit more threatening. Let's instruct our wing backs to overlap more to push their wide plays deeper. We're also going to go with a bit more direct passing. And let's also bump up the tempo. Keeper plays it long. Richards Everton should win this. He loses out to Jackson. Jackson drives forward towards the box. Lack support, so holds the ball up and plays it back to Lakin. Lakin finds Denton. Denton in space. Denton crosses, but it's dealt with by Ben Everton. Pulls back to Denton. Puts it back in. Jackson, what a volley! Stevenage doubled their lead. All started from a ball Richard Everton should have won, but he lacked the bottle and temptation to do so. When the cross comes in, Jackson had no right to score this. Coming at pace, it's an awkward height, and the gap he has to hit is so small. As we see from the overhead shot, his technique is exquisite. His body shape is perfect, he keeps his body weight balanced, and he strikes it cleanly and hard. Zlatan would be happy with a finish like that. Reads his free kick, puts it into the back post, and O'Connor's there. O'Connor puts it back behind everyone, but Cook scores, but no, the license flags up. O'Connor was offside. Reads the corner, whips it in. Headed clear though by Digby, and Denton's on the ball. He's got some place to run into. 2v2. He runs at Cook, and he commits him and skips past him. He's into the box, lines up the shot in, he shoots, but McGee tips around the post. We got lucky there, they're really good on the counter. Let's make some tactical tweaks. Let's move McCartan. We're moving deep in this attacking midfield role and playing shadow striker. We're also going to change the mentality. Going from balance to, let's go with positive. Short with the throw. Goes long towards Mellor, and the referee's blown his pointing to the spot. There was a push on Mellor. So as the throw comes in, we got Mellor here, so keep an eye on this area. Carroll's the one marking him, and he's tight to him, and then just pushing him in the chest. Clear penalty. Does not take it with some purpose, strides back, and then runs forward and strikes to the bottom corner, and it goes past the goalkeeper. Keeper went the right way, but couldn't stop it. That's his 14th of the season, and we're back into this. So at half-time, it's a bit of a mixed bag. We've had the most possession at 59%. They have more shots than us, but we've had the two best chances of the match. Our pass has been pretty good at 82%. Our tackles at 85%, pretty good. And even our headers is above 50%, which is rare. Our best player's been Novak, but he's only got 6.8. He's had two clear-cut chances. I'm not sure if the penalty counts as one, but there was certainly that one earlier in the half that he should have converted. Our worst player is Middleton, who's on a 6.2. He's made 5 mistakes that half, which is awful. Their best player is Jackson, who deserves this for the goal he scored. That volley was fantastic. Staunton on the ball, finds Mellor. Mellor looks long, but it's cleared by Denton. O'Connor looks like he's pushed by Fellaini, but nothing is given. Fellaini drives at defence, slides in Jackson. Jackson tries to side foot it past McGee, but McGee is equal to it. They've been getting behind the defensive line way too easy, so I'm going to drop it back. I will also put on use offside trap. Then with the throw, finds Lakin. Lakin looks up and can only go to Digby in the centre, but McCartan did well and read it. McCartan has acres to run into. Tries forward. Goes past Van Kooten. Van Kooten now trips him up, and Van Kooten's in trouble here. Is it going to be a red card? It has to be, right? And yes, he's off. We've got a real chance to get back into this now. So the ball's played across, it's going to Digsby. And McCartan, as you can see, has got an awful lot of ground to make up. He reads it well, though, and when he nips in front of Digsby, he's got acres to run into. And at that point, Stevenage is in real trouble, especially as Van Kooten doesn't have the pace to keep up with McCartan. The other defender can't come across and cover because then it leaves an easy pass to Novak. So Van Kooten is forced into the risky tackle, and it gets himself sent off. Reads the free kick, whips it into the back post. It's headed clear though. McCartan picks up the loose ball, plays it back to Staunton. Staunton looks up and plays it long. Finds Middleton. Middleton charges the defender, cuts inside him and blasts it goal, but the keeper saves it. Reads the free kick, whips it into the box. It's headed clear. McCartan picks up the loose ball, shoots but it's blocked. Back to Reeves. Reeves goes past his man, crosses, and it's headed clear again. Stevenage defending resolutely. So let's make some more changes again. Let's bring DeVito on from McCartan. And we'll play him as a attack midfielder on attack. And then we'll also bring on Restore, and let's take him off for Connor Wood. Connor Wood would be better going forward. And what else? Let's change Reeves onto a deep line playmaker. And we'll put Cook back onto his preferred Mazzala. And finally, Mellor, while better going forward, is tired, so let's bring on French for him. Since send-off, we haven't really created anything, but we've got one last chance here. But it's headed clear. And there goes the final whistle, and it's a disappointing loss for us. So the team talk is pretty obvious, aggressive, and that wasn't good enough. And they've mostly reacted well. As expected, as we were man up for most of the half, that's why we were the dominant team. We had 14 shots to their 9 and 61% possession, which didn't create any good chances. We had no more clear-cut chances in the second half, and we only hit 5 shots on target the whole match. Perhaps I should have sacrificed the defender and put another attacker on. Would have left us vulnerable for the counter, but as we lost anyway, it wouldn't have really been a problem. If we look at the player stats, Luke McGee got 6.8, having saved 8 shots. Kelvin Mellor covered 5.6 miles, but completed none of his crosses and only got 6.5. He also made a mistake. O'Connor and Ben Richards Everton got 6.8 and 6.7, but nothing really of note, although Ben Richards Everton did make one mistake, which was what led to their second goal. Staunton got 6.5. He covered 5.6 miles, and he had one key pass, but he also made a mistake. Reeves had an 82% pass success rate, and he got 6.7. He did make a mistake though, but had one key pass. His midfield partner, Cook, had an 85% pass success rate and covered 7.7 miles. He made 2 mistakes, but made 2 key passes. Ismail got 6.8. He didn't really have that much impact on the game, but that was mainly because he was getting fouled. He won us 10 free kicks. Middleton had an awful first half where he had 5 mistakes. In the second half, he improved an awful lot and didn't commit any more mistakes. He covered 7.9 miles, was fouled 4 times, but that first half meant that he couldn't get above 6.5. McCartan got 6.6. He created 1 chance and had 1 key pass, but he had no chances himself and only completed 11 passes all match. Novak was our best player and he got 7. He had 80% of his shots on target and he was fouled 3 times. He made 1 mistake, made 1 key pass and scored 1 goal. The subs weren't on the pitch long enough to have an impact. However, Jamie DeVitt, he made 1 successful pass in the whole time he was on the pitch, which is awful. Sums his season up really. Let's check in the rest of the results from game week 33 and see how it impacted the table. Bottom club Carlisle beat 6th place Cheltenham. Carlisle took a 2-0 lead before Cheltenham pegged back a goal in the last minute. It made for a tense end of the match, but Carlisle held out for a 2-1 win. It's an important win for Carlisle. They remain bottom, but give themselves a real chance to escape the relegation spot. The loss sees Cheltenham fall 2 places and out of the playoff positions to 8. Colchester beat Grimsby 1-0. That moves Colchester up 3 places to 5th. Crewe beat Crawley 1-0. That's a massive boost for Crewe's push for the playoffs. Crawley, however, fall 3 places to 7th. So hanging on to the last playoff spot by the skin of their teeth. Oldham went to Exeter and were 2-0 up within 21 minutes. Crewe got one back on half-time before grabbing a late equaliser. That point is vital for Exeter as it keeps them above Carlisle on goal difference. Leyton Orient beat Mansfield 3-2, Morecambe lost to Macclesfield 2-1, and Newport beat Walsall 3-0. Swindon travelled Northampton and got a 1-0 win. They have been hovering outside the playoffs for most of the season, but this win catapults them 3 places up to 4th. They're one of the most informed sides in the league, who put money on them staying there. They may even have an outside chance of an automatic spot. Although their biggest rivals are Plymouth, who have been in equally as good form. This continued when they went to Salford and won 2-0. And finally, Cambridge went to Scunthorpe and got a 1-1 draw. That sees Cambridge for 1 place to 6th. So before we look forward to the next match, let's have a look at the update on our potential finishing positions. As you can see, despite our loss, our lowest finishing position has moved up 1 place to 18th. We're slowly closing in on the goal of the series of being better than Bowyer. We need about 5 wins and a draw to guarantee 8th. We have a couple of tough games coming up against Cambridge and Plymouth. We should certainly be able to pick up 3 of those 5 against Newport, Salford and Leyton Orient. And that's a good segue into next match preview. It's against one of those tough matches I mentioned as we go away to Cambridge. Cambridge are 6th, but for a lot of the season we're outside the playoffs. They haven't lost a match since game week 25 when they were down in 10th. Their good run has propelled them into the playoff positions, and they're one of the form teams in the league. We'll have to play better than we have been to get some out of this match. They are likely to be without Taft, who is recovering from a muscle injury. It says we have no team news, but that's not accurate. Pritchard will be back from his knee ligament injury, but with only 2 days of training, he won't be ready to play. And as we know, Henley is out for at least the next 7 weeks. The match will take place on Saturday, 29th of August at 7 PM BST. So if you're taking part in the Prediction League, you have until then to get your entries in. The entry thread, as always, can be found in the description. And while it's late in the season, you can still join in. The instructions on how to take part can also be found in the description. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please leave us a like. It's much appreciated and helps the video get discovered. Also, why not subscribe so you know when the next episode is released? And with that, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.